Atochin chitab Kalenjin eng ketesiet noton nechome nebo Kass TV kakituiye tuan ibwat ile eng kila kasitab aeng kemi tuan eng kibagenge en tetutiet noton nebo Ikweny Emet. Kainenyu ko Shadrack Mutai Itagat. Kakiyosiechi en betutab raini David Keter nenaat kora ko Dollain koek MP nebo komosta nebo Emurua Dikir. Namu boroinoton David Keter nekinamu en tai neki MP nebo oratan Joanna Ngeno nekimuch kobet sobet kosibkei ak nyasutiet nebo ndegeit.
Honorable Speaker, introduce to you MP-elect for Emurua Dikir, Keter David Kipsang.
Christian, take the Bible in your right hand, raise it, and recite this oath.
I,
Use the mic.
I, David Kipsang Keter, having been elected a member of the National Assembly, do swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people and the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, respect, uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of a member of Parliament. So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You may proceed and sign to the oath. You can proceed to the bar, and the new member can take his space in the House. Majority Leader, I'll direct. Majority Leader, I know we have now 2 members who have not been assigned committees. So I direct that in the shortest time possible, you convene the committee so that you can assign the member for Isiolo. Is it Isiolo North or South? Isiolo South. And the member for Emurua Dikir committees so that they can start their work in earnest. Next.
Kaindochi PS noton nebo National Treasury Dr. Chris Kiptoo saik alak chebo serikali en chikilet noton nebo tekset noton nebo Rironi Mau Summit. Kamwa Kiptoo kole tesetai komie tekset nebo oranoton kotetat kiwong en kasarta nenyolu ole kacher biik chemeng'isie en ole nekiten oranoton kotoi mung'arosiek cheimuch konyorunen icheket kelchin kakimuch kiwong teksetab oranoton.
Na tumekuja hapa leo kuangalia vile hii program ile progress ya hii barabara. Kama mnavyojua rais alikuwa hapa mwezi wa 11, ilikuwa tarehe 28. Akaanza ile inaitwa early works. Na juzi mwezi wa 5 agreement imesainiwa, ndio sasa hawa watu wapi hawa ni CRDC waanze kazi sasa, ndio hawa sasa wametuambia kwamba 81 kilometers kutoka hapa Rironi mpaka Naivasha Gilgil itakuwa imekamilika by October this year. October this year. Na itakuwa imetengenezwa 3 lane lakini itakuwa 2 lane huko upande huu, 2 lane upande huu. Na ikiisha sasa upande huu wa Maimayo kutoka Rironi Maimayo Naivasha, hiyo barabara itaanza tena na itakamilika by June next year. Na hata kuna pia contractor upande ule mwingine kutoka Gilgil mpaka Mau Summit. Hiyo program itaisha pia by June next year. Kwa hivyo hii barabara itakuwa ready by June next year, hata kabla tuende kwa uchaguzi. Kwa hivyo nataka tu kusema sisi tumekuja tuangalie kwamba huyu hajaongea tu bure, tunaona kazi inafanyika na tunaenda round. Tunataka tu kuhakikisha nyinyi wananchi mna, kwanza kwa upande huu ukitaka kupita msiwe na accidents, so wapate enough provisions ya overpasses and underpasses. Mimi si engineer, kwa hivyo nisiongee sana, nieleze tu mambo ya uchumi tunajaribu kuimarisha. Najua mambo ya mafuta iko ni mambo ya external, ile tunaita external shock, but we are doing everything to see that tunaangalia mambo ya mwananchi. Kwa hivyo nikirudi huko Nairobi nimwambie nini rais? Nimwambie nini tena? Asante sana.
My name is Cyril Odede Wagunda, PS Public Investment and Asset Management. Kazi yangu ni kulinda masirimali ya serikali. Si mnaona tunajenga barabara? And the only thing we can tell you people, take advantage of what is here. Mheshimiwa amesema those who wants to be employed, take that advantage so that you go to his office ndio mpati kazi. I don't want to say much kwa sababu mimi si engineer vile PS amesema. Engineer ako hapa, yangu ni kuangalia tu government assets.
Kakikoito kurset koityi kandoikab bolotet koistoegei ng'alet nemuch koberber biikab emet kotinygei ak report noton nemiten en finance bill nebo kenyini nebo kenyitab 2026 kosibkei ak Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi komanyolu en kandoikab emet kotestai koberber biikab emet kotinygei ak kit nemiten finance bill mwaet kole chekimwoitoen kele much kemiten anan komi taxes cheketilen imbarenik komobo iman, mwaet kole noton kotokyingei kityo komuch kobe biikab emet kotokyigei icheket kambakosiek.
Tuko hapa na finance bill hapa, watu wamedanganya kwamba in the finance bill ati iko taxation imeletwa on land. 124 pages of the finance bill. Watusaidie, waambie wale wanasiasa ambao wanazungumza, watuonyeshe which clause. 124 pages, I think 57 clauses. Which clause in the finance bill is actually talking about taxing leasehold or taxing freehold? Sasa we mwanasiasa unadanganya vijana wetu, wanaenda kwa streets, wengine wanapigwa risasi, wengine wanaumia, na wewe unadanganya ati kwa finance bill there is a taxation on land, and it is here, it is published, and there is nothing like that. Why are we doing this? Why are we cheating? Let us unite the country. Elections are coming. When the elections come, vote right. Assess your candidates and then make your vote.
Kakobor kaimetabkei alage meng'ik chebo komosta nebo Ng'enyelel en komosta nebo koneng'ate ng'atutik nebo Tarbo en Uasin Gishu kotinygei ak oret nekiboisien en pchetaetab chepkondok chebo basari mwaet kole miten kalotunet.
Kaimong chongindab sigik chotok chebunu waditab Ng'enyelel nemite eng Tarbo County noto nebo Uasin Gishu akobor kaimetabkei eng kit noto nemwoe kole kokiberber ward administrator koboto tononjinetab basari akobo chekinik chotok chebo lagok chotok chekonyolu konyorchigei chepkondok chotok chebo basari.
Depende ya kwamba zile checks ambazo tulisomewa hapa juzi na bwana governor iweze kurudishwa kwa wananchi, tuweze kudhibitisha wanafunzi ni hao na iweze kupelekwa shuleni sisi wote kama tumeweza kuitazama.
Inasemekana kwamba kuna kabila ambazo zinagawanywa, kuna kabila fulani inapewa na kabila fulani haipewi. Tafadhali wakazi wa Ngenyilele hapa tuko mixed, tuko cosmopolitan. Tuko mchanganyiko wa kutosha na tunapiga kura hapa. Kwa hivyo tupewe haki yetu.
Mwae icheket kole matagunot oret noton nekokiboisie eng lewenetab lagok chotok chekonyolu konyorchigei chepkondok chotok chekikoito ofisitab gavana kobate rirtoe icheket kandoinatetab komasatak eng kit noton nemwoe kole koiwekta chekeni chotok.
Tumeambiwa tukuje tuchukue. Mbona tumeambiwa tena sishashukuliwa kwa shule? Nani huyu anasunguka akipeana basari zetu isipokuwa mheshimiwa wetu Natui? Haki yetu tunahitaji kama wana Ngenyilele wa.
Pewa basari juzi, bwana gavana alikuja na akatuahidi ya kwamba check siko. Baadaye akatoka na check zote akatoroka naye na what that mean. Hata tukiwa hapa saa hii tunangojea machek na what that mean anasunguka na machek. Kwani ni nani? Gavana nini? MCN ndio anapeana ama ni what that mean? Na what that mean ana kiburi sana kwa sababu wanajuana na gavana.
Maje sigichotok bunu ward notok po Ngenyilele keipchi kakwautik ward administrator nerirtoi kora gavana nebo county nebo Uasin Gishu nemwoe icheket kole kikomuch kotaban icheket eng boisionik chechang.
Wakati tulipeana basari tulipeana kwa kila mtu, hata kwa walemavu, lakini kwa saa hata ya walemavu hatuoni, hatujui iko wapi saa hii, lakini tunataka kwa listi inaonekana, lakini sasa kwa mashule hatujui inaendaje. Tu mtu ambaye tumechua tulipigia kura ni MCA, tulipigia kura tunamjua. Na admin wenye walituletea huyo hatukumpigia kura. So mtu ambaye tunataka tuulize basari za watoto wetu ziko wapi ni MCA.
Akot kunotok kobun MCA nebo komosta nebo Ngenyilele Benjamin Natui komwoe ine kole kokiipchi basari chengeringen amakisub biik chotok chekonyolu konyorchigei toretonotok.
Manake basari ambazo tuliweza kuletewa ni shilingi 8 milioni 3,800,000 na ila hali basari ambayo tulifanyia faithing hapa ground ni shilingi milioni 6. Ya pili tulishangaa sana manake majina haikuchukuliwa katika ward ama katika kamati ya basari. Majina ilienda kutengenezwa na ward administrator na timu yake na wale watu ambao hawapendi maendeleo katika ward yetu ya Ngenyilele. Wakashikana na wakatafuta beneficiaries kivyao na wakajaza kwa list.
Katyem ketishoni konyor ng'olyo kobun ofisitab gavana kobun ofisit noton nebo Governor's Press kobate maib simoshek. Kong'eteke taonitab Eldoret eng county nebo Uasin Gishu, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Isaac Kogei.
Katestai ng'alalet en emet kotiengei ak ripset nebo President Dr. William Samoei Ruto ole kamwa nebo ng'echeret eng kibagengeitab Inua Mama Jenga Taifa Stella Wandoi kole kokon missing tobotet neo yautiet noton nemwaat kele kobit ng'emetab kalyet anan kobor chi agenge nekoimuch komongei akot korikyi ole komiten president mwaat kole noton koimuch konde ole ng'oi sobet nebo kandoindetab emet.
Kamwa Stella Wandoi kole kokon tobotet neo missing eng emet yautenoto kilabataitab President William Ruto neran agenge eng komosta nebo Kilifi ole kibor nito kole mitei ole ng'oi sobetab kandoindetab emet.
Kitu ambacho kilinishtua hata zaidi ni ule kijana vile alivyokuja na hizo mbio, alikimbia na hata akaenda akamrukia boss, akamrukia rais kwa shingo. Naona akabembea na yeye na shingo yake. Nikaona wote kama wanaenda chini. Hiyo ilinishtua sana.
Anganda chang biikab emet korirte yautenoto ribiikab President William Ruto, kamwa ine kole tako koimuch koyai boisiet neo ribiichoto kosir ole makat.
Shida kubwa ambayo inatokea hapo ni kwamba hawa watu wanahitaji pia kupumzika. Wakiwa katika ziara kama hiyo ndefu, nafikiri badala ya watu timu hiyo kwa moja, labda kungekuwa timu nyingine inaingia kwa masaa fulani, nyingine inatoka, nyingine, yani security sizoeleke na wananchi. Inapozoeleka hata inakuwa rahisi wao pia wana relax na watoto wanafanya nini? Wanarukia pale.
Karirita ine kora kit nekamwa ine kole kikotestai kobit yautichoto kosubkei ak kandoik chemakotoreti biikab emet ole imuch komaityin samutikab biikab emet kandoindetab emet.
Kwa sababu changamoto ambazo hawa vijana wanazopitia na wale wote ambao wanataka kupeleka ujumbe kwa rais, ujumbe huu kuna vitengo mbalimbali ambavyo vinachukua ndio viweze kufikisha pale. Lakini kwa sababu wale ambao wako chini hawapatii nafasi hawa vijana na kuwapatia masikio na kuwasikiza, bila shaka ndo tunaona hali kama zile zinaendelea.
Lakini kuna shida tu mahali moja. Viongozi ambaye tuliwachagua walio mamlakani ambao ni daraja ya raia hawana nafasi kuongea na raia, kusikiza mambo ambayo inawasumbua raia, hasa vijana wetu.
Eng let kosom ine kero kele kakikoch kandoindetab emet kasarta nebo kotuiyo ak biikab emet asobit komwochi ichek somutikwak.
Kungeteuliwa jopo fulani ambalo hilo jopo wakati rais anapokuja mahali kama hapo, kunakuwa na hilo jopo la kuchukua mawazo na ya hawa vijana wetu, kile wanachofikiria, ile changamoto walioko nayo. Watu wanaendelea kuandika hizo shida, hizo points zenye ambazo hawa wanapitia. Then before president aondoke, bila shaka anatenga dakika kama 3 kumiti hao wenye ambao walikuwa wameleta hizo changamoto, anazisort out. Hatuwezi pata pressure kama hizi.
Kong'eteke county nebo Nandi, logoiwekab emet yebo Kass, kainenyu ko Nelson Tarubei.
En county nebo Kericho koimongei ak ichek meng'ikab county noton akosom Inspector General of Police komuch kokimit ripsetab kalyet nebo president noton nebo emet.
Kondochin nebo ng'echeret en kibagengeitab bunge la mwananchi nebo Kericho Richard Mutai komwa meng'ikab county noton kole makat keipchi kamanut ripsetab kandoindetab emet President Dr. William Ruto amanyolu kobit yautik alak tugul chemakararan.
Kekonu inai wito kobun bunge la mwananchi nebo Kericho kelenjin security nebo president ko makit netakoita ako makit nekiibe kouon kwa urahisi. Kokiorokese kabisa kongeker tuguk chekotestai en olimbo Kilifi ako makiityine ak biikab ripsetab kalyet neribe president. Kingong'ete chito kong'eten kwenet olin akoriakta akoi koit chekimiten president ko kimiten biik chebo ribikab kalyet chekimiten tai yoton ko makingen kele wany ko kikazinywan ko ne.
Kosubkei ak meng'ichoton koboto Peter Sikei ko yautikab konekit chetieme biik koityi President Ruto komoche chikilet nenin en afisaek kikochin ripset kandoindetab emet.
Ko akwong'e alenen ribikab kalyet anan biik cheribe president ko mioni ako angen ale biik chesire 5 anan 10 ko mioni bichu. Kot kong'ete chito nekeribe kowendi chito nemakingen kelenen intention nenyin ko ne, kot koba kosube president ko aniechek biik raia kiune.
Chichi king'ete koloboti tor konyo koite mi president ako ng'alal karibu 3 seconds ko kibunu ano en yikimi security. Togu kele security ko kiruen boisienywan. Nekomoche amwochi commander nikitononji betunoton ale kiyai makosa. Tam en serikalisiek chekikekerchi kibendi anan chekikoba let yu ko kiribot security makirikyin president. Yoche ngong'olole president ko lo en yemi biik. Ako president ko kamoche asom akine president mamache tokokatat biik, amoche kobirchi surut biik en distance kidogo amun en kit netesetai nguni ko mi siasaisiek.
Kamach meng'ichoton walutik chekokiyai en ribikab president koek kanetut akeyai boisiet en oret nenyolu kasarta netesetai kolonye bolotet en emet.
Ngandan kokong'alal oino kokikose kong'alal amut Rigathi Gachagua ko kiyonjindosi ak Rigathi Gachagua ngomwa en ripsetab president kiyonjindosi kabisa, lakini makimoche kot kechut zaidi ng'alekab kole keisto Haji ala keisto minister nebo internal security noton ko Murkomen. Noton komokomi Murkomen ireuno, lakini ko biik chekomiten yoton ko komiten commander, nomong'u ole komiten commander nekondochin yotet. Konyolu kenai kele ripsetab president ko miano. Kokewal kingen tugul kele kokewal ripset. Ko makespekteni president akine kotakokontrolen bichu zaidi. President ko kong'et ko president ako kong'et biikab kalyet ko independent. Ko kit nekamwochi biikab kalyet president kolechi matiyai ni ko matkwai noton.
Chito nendochin Kenya mzima si komi kalyet en emet ko komi president komie. So kamoche asom security chebo president ketes ak kerib president. Ye kakoribok president koribot emet.
Aripotochin logoiwekab emet chebo Kass kong'eten county nebo Kericho, kainenyun ko Robert Siele.
Kotakemiten county noton bo Kericho kokakomongei kibagengeit noton nebo Borowo Kipsigis Clans Welfare Association akomwa kole mawekse let icheket en chengetab imanda nebo koboto karosisiet nekibun icheket en kwenutab kulachek en chenget noton nebo konam mbarenik choton chebo multinationals chemiten en county nebo Kericho.
Kong'ololjin siriikab logoiwek en Bureti county nebo Kericho kondochin sirindet nebo kibagengeitab Borowo Kipsigis Clans Welfare Association Bernard Rono komwa icheket kole kikong'ololjin ak emetab Uingereza kotinygei ak namunetab mbarenik ak kautoet nekikochi icheket kanyalilet ng'alalet nekarop eun nebo ng'echeret Paul Chirchir.
Kokingeng'alal ak chumbek kokile nangebe bakechopchin tugukwak boisiecho ako inguni keribe ripot nekoboin konekit kokikose kokochunda serikalitab national kapchain kokon kobwa county. Kokokitebe kele kongobwa county bakotom kotukwech county kora kobaketuyen kemwa akobo mbarenichu ako chechwaket mbarenichu kikebe baka National Land Commission Nairobi kitindoi baronok chebo National Land Commission Nairobi kitinye chebo ofisitab president
en kokiketeb kong'eten keny historical and justice kemoche manit nebo ng'alechu kong'ete yekikinamen akoi ireyu sikemite tuyoni kokisibi ng'alek chebo boisiekyok chekikiyon en kapchain ako kiirwoch akosindan case en 1952.
Kosubkei ak icheket komoche rabisiekab kakaranet en uset ak kanyalilet nekibun en eunekab kiplelachek ak kewek mbarenikab chaik en counties chebo Kericho ak Bomet konam icheket.
Akoi kenyitab 1951 kerulen kesit en Kisumu. Akotem ng'alechotet akoi 2013 keker kele nyolu keker tugukab boisiekyok ak keteb imaninyon nekibo kong'eten en mbarenikwak chekikiib ak kekete tugukwak.
Kamwa Jane Kimeto neindochin chepyosok en kibagengeit noton kole makat en kandoinatetab kiplelachek kokushi kong icheket en chokyinet.
Kikekany en kasarian, kikebwan en kasarian, kimoche haki nenyon en emetab Uingereza. Kimoche kokose ot King Charles kemoche right nenyon. Kimoche kekonech tugukyok asikotoret bikyok. Mait kesomosen kikisereti amun kikiwonech en mbarenikyok chekibo bomorisiekyok.
Ako kibek bikyok ak keketen tuga ak kebel korikwak kot koit koseretiot boisiechoto kot ngunon kotomo konyor kiy. Kesome serikalinyon kewekyin kongoi Arap Ruto en kokoitoetab mbarenik tugul chebo kipsigisiek kewekyi kipsigisiek amun tom kosiki kipsigisiek kong'eten yoto.
Kang'ong icheket kole mawekse let kot konyor imandanywan icheket en akang kole miten biik cheite elibushek aeng chemiten en kibagengeit noton bo Borowo chekikiuta chekikiraben mbarenik ak kiuta icheket kobun uinwek.
Olenji amen akine borot kule boro ak sekretari ak turesier borot kule boro tinye bisiop tinye kole tinye oleni kasini borot kule boro ako nenyon mbaret nenyon kole nenyon anu nenyon kole nenyon kikas embel kot kikas kole kikas esot kikas kole kikas kekas en Nandi kikas kole kikas borot kole boro mie kole mie king kole king.
Aripotini logoiwekab emet chebo Kass kong'eten county nebo Kericho, kainenyun ko Robert Siele.
Kimboke tuguchu choket ngo ako kiboche president.
Yekistoengei noton ko kawaita kurset alage en biik chemiten en sekta nebo lelesta anan fashion industry en emoni koityi serikali koker kole kakichop ng'atutik chebendi kokere kole kakimuch kekonop sekta noton nebo lelesta en emet nebo tekilach ingoroik choton chebo kitenge kole moe serikali kosimchi kiboitinik komuch akot kolach ingoroik choton akot agenge en wikit koret agenge newekanapta atebonoton.
Naat mising ko kitenge kalagutik chekibo tai chekikakeutie kobate kamang'unetabgei nebo alak eng neranik akotach kokeny kalagutikab kitenge koimuch koek kakwautiet neo nebo kiwekchigei kokeny kalagutichoto bo lelesta. Godwin Kipto ko agenge en chemung'arek chemiten sekta nebo lelesta en kanasetab Eldoret.
It's been quite a journey. They've built something great, something big. And as it keeps growing, we look forward to partnering with them and seeing how it goes through the years, building the young souls, building the young people in whatever crafts they are in. We know that design is design. At the end of the day, design is design. It doesn't matter if it is clothing design or interior design.
Ningeza penda sana Kenya tufike levels international levels. Examples ni kama events like Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. Ningeza penda sana vijana kutoka Kenya. We embrace our culture.
Moche stakeholders choto indochin Kitenya kaloki serikali koker kole kakitaban betut nebo kaloksetab ngoroikab kitenge en emet en kabarunetab kimnatet nebo bitet ak kibagenge kobun kalagutik.
Kama kitambo tulikuwa tunapata wazazi peke yake ndio wanapenda vitenge. Siku hizi vijana wadogo kama sisi Gen Z, we love vitenge because it is celebrating fashion, Kenyan fashion in particular. And this is also a call to action to all the members of parliament, members of Senate, even the president himself. If we could have a session where all of you are wearing kitenges in your meetings, it would be celebration of Kenyan fashion.
And it is our responsibility as Kenyan to make sure our fashion industry is growing. We should not just be celebrating Nigeria and Tanzania, because it starts from us and we make our industry bigger and better.
You know, kitenge is our identity as Kenyan. It shows who we are as Kenya, and it shows, you know, this is where our roots is. And we think that when it comes to creativity and fashion, it has the locals who understand.
Igorata naat ko kitenge festivals kotatat keyai en kanasetab Eldoret en betutab Jumamos nebo wikini. Ko kainaik che echen en sekta nebo lelesta chemite igorata koboto Amaton Sila, Miss Global Kenya ak Miss Heritage Kenya Tracy Mulongo. Kole kosubkei ak tetindetab igorata Nicholas Karanja kotorchingei ichek koib igorata kosir kiwato nebo emoni en kenyisiek chemiten tai.
We want to take this fabric far and wide. Tunataka pia wazungu wajue, as much as si tunavaa nguo zao, wale ambao wako Europe tunataka wajue, as much as si nao tunavaa nguo zao, pia sisi tutawaletea these attires. Waone kumbe pale Africa, pale East Africa, pale Kenya kuna hii kitu inaitwa kitenge na watai embrace. And we're going to work with international models and international designers, and I assure you from next year we're going to have one of our international events, Kitenge Fashion Festival.
Kitenge is such a beautiful fabric that if worn very well, it can bring out our culture, because kitenge cuts across all Kenyan cultures, not just one.
Kong'eten kanaset nebo Eldoret en county nebo Uasin Gishu, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass TV, kanenyu ko Timothy Kiplimo.
Kakokimit serikali tesetai kochin walet sekta noton nebo kolsetab miwek oret agenge nebo konyorunen kelchin kabatik kosubkei ak rubeyotab President Professor Kithure Kindiki kotesetai serikali kokimit walet noton netokyingei kora kimuch kekono factorisiek choton chebo miwek asikomuch konyor kabatik kelchin kobun kolsetab miwek en emoni.
The government of Kenya in this administration of William Ruto, President of Kenya, made a deliberate choice to transform this subsector in several ways. One, restructuring the sugar board to make it leaner, more transparent and more effective. Two, engaging with millers on clear performance standards. Three, bringing in the private sector to provide investments to run our sugar mills, as the Minister for Agriculture of the Republic of Kenya has just said. We have also, in this administration, initiated the revival of state-owned factories through leasing these factories to the private sector, which has attracted quite some serious private investments. We have worked to bring discipline and predictability to sugarcane pricing so that farmers can plan and invest in their farms with greater certainty.
This administration deserves to be acknowledged for political courage. The Ruto administration inherited a sugar sector in deep structural distress, decades of mismanagement, debt-ridden parastatals, unpaid cane proceeds, factional politics around factories, and a regulatory environment that rewarded patronage over productivity. Turning that around, was never going to be painless, and the temptation to move slowly, to protect vested interests, to manage the politics, rather than fix the problem, that temptation was real. But the reforms have come. The liberalization of sugar imports has injected competitive discipline into a sector that had grown comfortable with inefficiency. The privatization of state sugar companies, long overdue, signals the end of factories that existed to serve political interests rather than produce sugar. The push toward contract farming framework is restructuring the relationship between the farmer and the miller on fairer, more transparent terms. The commitment to clearing historical cane payment arrears is not merely financial relief. It is a restoration of trust, and trust is the foundation on which everything else must be built. These are not cosmetic changes, they are structural. The Council of Governors stands firmly behind them, even as we call for their implementation to be accelerated and for county governments to be empowered as full partners in the execution.
Koib kerutikab biikab emet anan public participation kibagengeit noton nebo KEBS ole kanyor kerutikab meng'ikab counties chemiten en komosta nebo North Rift kotinygei ak kerutikwak kotinygei ak walet konamgei ak ole kichoptoi anan ole makat kisuldaen akobo kororindo noton nebo tuguk ak mung'aret en emet.
Kong'ololi kasarta nekaib kerutikab biikab emet kobun counties chotok chebo North Rift eng taonitab Eldoret, komwa ofisayat neo nebo kibagengeitab Kenya Bureau of Standards eng komosta nebo North Rift Clement Komu kole nyolu keyochi walutik ng'atutik chotok chetonondochin kebeberwek somok chemwoe kole bendi kokonoptoi kororonindab tuguk chotok chekiboisie.
Today, KEBS conducted a public participation forum for 3 regulations. First on Product Certification Regulation 2026, Testing and Destination of Laboratories Regulations 2026, and Scientific and Industrial Metrology Regulations 2026. These regulations are aimed at further operationalizing our mandates around these areas. So they are giving the frameworks for the destination of labs, which are about the testing, which are for testing, for scientific and industrial metrology, and we're also reviewing the certification regulations which were first issued in 1977 and they're just being updated.
Kamwa Komu kole ng'atutik chechang ko kikobutchi keny kounotok konyolu keyochi walet asikobit konyor toket nelel ak boisionik chotok chenyumnyumen.
Over time there have been very many changes, especially like in the product certification regulation. The last regulations were done in 1977. And we have had e-commerce coming into play, which was not there, and we had many players now coming into play. We have had the East African community coming into play, which was not there when these regulations were done. So we just need to ensure that we are able to carry out our mandates of consumer protection, facilitating trade with the new environment.
Kobun kibagenge notok kotesetai kotoche kerutikab biikab emet ako bendi kora kosuldoe kosubkei ak samutikab biikab emet mising ko chotok chekanoptoi komosta nebo mung'aret.
Even after this public participation forum, we are still receiving feedback and we are open to information. You can give us feedback through regulations at kebs.org through our email. So the forum is still open until 5th of June. There was an issue which was raised by what we call the micro enterprises, which you normally charge. Before we used to charge a fee of 11,600 for 3 products, and now it has been taken to 5,000 per product. This issue was raised, and it will be considered by the committee, and they'll be able to give a determination on that.
Kong'eteke taonitab Eldoret eng county nebo Uasin Gishu, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Isaac Kogei.
Chitab Kalenjin choton ko logoiwekab emet chekaimuch kaitun eng ketesiet noton neichame nebo Kass TV nekasomanun kwane Shadrack Mutai testai Kass TV amun kimnatet naet.